fun.
Welcome back to Game Friend, I'm Krago, and in this review episode I'm talking about Bubsy 4D.
No, stop it right now.
A modern mascot platformer from developer Fabraz, a studio known for their expressive platforming titles Demon Turf and Demon Tides. These are movement-focused, fast-paced, free-flowing, and challenging experiences. Platformers set up to encourage speedrunning, time attacks, leaderboards, and finding your own path to the goal, and typically featuring some sort of zany cartoon animal mascot in the lead role.
Well, look at you little fashionista.
I feel a lot of nostalgic love for these kinds of mascot games. I grew up with the likes of Croc, Jersey Devil, and Crash Bandicoot, for example, and I'd certainly heard of Bubsy, but Bubsy 4D has been my first experience with the series, and I consider it to be a fairly positive one. Bubsy endured a somewhat colourful history since his arrival in the early 90s, with the cynical Bobcat just one of many, and I mean many, flawed mascot platformers pitched to compete against Sega's overnight hit, Sonic the Hedgehog. Many tried to stand up to the blue blur, with the exclamation mark wearing Bubsy serving as the poster child of a failed attempt. The original 2D games were mired by pacing issues, one-hit deaths, lazy level design, and lacked a unified direction for the character. Yet clearly there was something about the zany Bobcat that kept people interested, because here we are in 2026 with a brand new 3D Bubsy game. What could possibly go wrong? In Bubsy 4D, you play as the washed up and forgotten unk Bubsy, who instantly is shamed and goaded into a mission to reclaim Earth's stolen supply of golden yarn. Through 15 levels, you'll explore 3 alien planets, one of wool, another of paper, and the third of junk and PC parts, to collect yarn balls, blueprints, and reluctantly pick fights with evil barbots and set-piece scraps.
You're gonna regret having done that.
The game doesn't take too long to zip through either, clocking in somewhere between 2 to 4 hours depending on how you play, and if you fancy popping your name and fastest time on each level's speedrun leaderboard.
That's mine. I need it. My precious.
Each level comes with its own set of platforming challenges, like low gravity zone, sinking towers, and sticky glue to limit mobility and give Bubsy a questionable idea or two.
Ugh. Haven't even written my fanfiction yet.
But these levels are mostly made up of moving platforms, climbable walls, springboards, tubes, and pipes to speed through, and a few hazards like spikes, woolies, and barbot enemies. And of course, lots and lots of water to drown in. But to stay on point, Fabraz has given the Bobcat a contemporary set of moves. Bubsy can now sprint, double jump, dash, as well as the return of his signature glide, and in addition to his modern moveset, he can also take a hit or 3 before resetting to a checkpoint. Long, long gone are the infamous 10 controls from Bubsy 3D. Technically they're gone. You can still enable them in the settings if you're mad, and fancy getting blasted by Bubsy himself.
Did you seriously just turn on tank controls? Why?
Fabraz has also imprinted some of its own DNA on the Bobcat too, who can now, for the first time in the series, transform himself into a big bouncy furball to roll through levels in the fastest way possible. It's safe to say that Bubsy 4D is the best game in the series, which isn't hard to beat, mind you, but I did deeply appreciate all the nods and references to the original games, and I especially enjoyed the Bobcat's Mario-inspired jump combos and accompanying wahoos. Sadly, navigating the levels has been a bit disappointing, not something a happy Wahoo can fix, at least not during my initial playthrough where I focused on narrative, collectibles, and exploring what the game had to offer. Bubsy's new moves felt disconnected from the levels he inhabited. A single jump was more than enough to span the gap between most platforms, meaning I'd rarely double jump. General flow was disrupted more than I'd like, with awkward collision boxes halting momentum, and there was hardly a bad guy to bonk on the head. It's my mistake, honestly, for playing Bubsy 4D like I did Super Mario Odyssey, but I think it's worth mentioning because I doubt I'll be the only one to do so. Slowing Bubsy down to take it all in felt like a mistake, and I couldn't help but notice how empty each level was, how they felt devoid of atmosphere, and lacked interactivity outside of the set path. Taking the time to talk with Virgil and Oblivia to explore every nook and cranny for redeemable blueprints and yarn balls to spend on upgrades at the Terry Twins shop felt oddly wrong, and it was reinforced when I snagged the golden yarn ball at 17 minutes and 8 seconds and not under 2 minutes 20. I may not have gotten the gold medal time, but I did get enough yarn balls to unlock a fun nudie Sonic skin for my troubles.
Retro, I like it.
Probably not the outfit to sell to your uncle. Now, I get that not every platformer has to be open to exploration, but Bubsy has had this identity crisis before. Not knowing whether the Bobcat is playful like Mario, or speedy like Sonic seems to have carried over into Bubsy 4D. I had a lot more fun once I ignored collectibles and started aiming for the level's speedrun time. Challenging other players' ghosts, learning their shortcuts, and competing against them for the top spot on the leaderboard was exhilarating, it really was, and I even got first place on one. Bubsy 4D is definitely a gotta go fast kind of game with a fun soundtrack. Combining the self-proclaimed Orange Blur's speedy furball long jump with his dash, glide, and double jump to skip large portions of the disappointing level design is pretty much the way to go, which seeing less of them ironically makes them better levels. And I genuinely mean that as a compliment. These levels have to be deliberately set up so that you can break them in the quickest way possible, so kudos to Fabraz. As for actually spending time with Bubsy and getting to know him and his motley crew, I personally found this to be my biggest highlight of the game. The humor is on point, the story is silly, and it serves only to push Bubsy into uncomfortable encounters with a trio of cyber-enhanced sheep.
That's it. I'm going to die today.
But like I said before, there really is something timelessly lovable about this zany Bobcat. I was instantly charmed by Bubsy's new look and sound. His quips, references, and out-of-touch aura transported me back in time like I was watching a 90s cartoon.
VR. What happened in good old CRT gaming?
He's like a self-deprecating Sonic the Hedgehog, fully aware of his B-list pop culture status, and committed to the bit.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
It's my opinion that Fabraz has produced the best iteration of the Bobcat, one I'd love to see much more in the future.
Pause menu, get it?
However, Oblivia, Virgil, and the Rugrat-adjacent Terry Twins consistently ripped into Bubsy, like most families do. The meta commentary wore thin in the latter stages, coming across a little bit too on the nose for my liking.
What?
I'd appreciate if, say in 30 years when we get our next Bubsy game, Fabraz would spend a little less time shitting on their own game. It's okay to not be the best game ever made, and a joke here or there is fine, but please, have a bit more confidence in your product. The modern gamer really doesn't need to be convinced not to play your game, especially when they're playing your game. They'll figure that all out by themselves.
Would a hug be pushing it?
Ugh, yes.
Bubsy 4D may be far from perfect, but Fabraz's effort marks the Bobcat's biggest leap forward since the series debuted in 1993.
Oh!
This Bubsy is fun, charming, and a lovable cynic, and he's now equipped with a contemporary moveset purpose-built for creative platforming and thrilling speedruns.
I hate this! Ow!
The game shines brightest when you're moving at full speed, combining every movement trick in Bubsy's arsenal to shortcut as much of the empty levels as possible. It's not a game to hang around in, because if at first you fail to notice its faults, Bubsy's companions will make damn sure you do. It's my belief that Bubsy 4D has laid solid groundwork for a future banger, and I sincerely hope this isn't the last we see from Fabraz and Bubsy.
I've got cramps in places I didn't even know existed.
Of course, this is just my opinion of the game. It's not the definitive word on Bubsy 4D, so I'd love to hear what you think of the game. Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, then the dislike one. And of course, subscribe if you're new, which I think a lot of you are. So join us, the water's nice. For more reviews like this one, be sure to stick with GameFriend. Until next time, cheerio!